Right, hi everybody, prepare to be confused. I'm about to put some pages together for a little book to keep the buttons in, and I've been playing with this before I put the video camera on, and playing with it this morning, trying to get the measurements right. And what I thought was, and I have done something similar, excuse me, to this before, in another, excuse me, in another embroidery school class, a cloth book. And that hosted stitches, like examples of stitches. And I've been thinking about this. So what my plan was to make a little 5x5 book with just a 1-inch spine, so that when the buttons were all in there and it only having a narrow spine, it would make it almost like, well, it wouldn't close and it would be like a bit of a fan thing going on. But now I've been thinking it might be nice if where these so where the pages join, if I join them, so that's 2 pages side by side, if I join them there somehow so that it folds up. But I'll think about that as I progress, because I've just literally just cut these out. Now I want my pages to be 5x5, and then I want a 1-inch spine, so that works out as 6. So I've cut 7 inches, give myself an extra inch widthwise, and give myself an extra inch height-wise, so 7x6. But this is 7x6. It started 7x6, but I've not left myself much room, to be fair. For my turnovers, because it's silk, it needs to be hemmed. So that's 5. From there to there is 5. Okay, at least I think it is. It looks big, doesn't it? You watch, I've done it wrong. No, it's 5. From there to there's 5, and from there to there's an inch. But then it's going to have to be damp stretched. So what I'm going to have to do before I damp stretch it is undo this basting and press it, and then damp stretch it. And then when I come to attach, this is the front of the page, this is the back of the page, when I come to attach them, I'll only need 1 fold over, not 2. But basically what I'm saying to you is, give yourself a bit more room than I did. I gave myself an extra inch and it wasn't enough. So you know yourself how you work. So this is the back of the page. 5x5. That's the back. This is the front. So I get so good, that's the front, okay. And it'll have to be that way because the spine is down there. That's the spine, so it'll have to be that way. And that one will be that way. So your top and bottom's important because of your spine. Okay. And then they'll be obviously joined together and like that. So what I've done is, this is the reverse of the page. So I'm thinking I don't want the reverse to be plain, so I've measured out the 5x5. Don't need to mark that out. What I need to mark out is these 2 vertical lines, because I'm going to embroider on them on the other side, but they'll make those lines visible for me at the front. Okay, so if I do that, are you with me? Are you keeping up? Oh, actually I've got some. Why can't I find the end of that? That is really weird. There it is. But I have actually got a needle threaded already. So, not extending beyond the edge of the page marking, just running stitch up here so that I can see these from the front. Okay. So, I'm a bit harassed today because I'm having to make these at a time when I wouldn't normally make videos, because the decorator seems to be, well, to be fair to him, he can only work around my husband's shifts, my husband's night shift, so that's why he's not here today and he can't come tomorrow. But he's going to come on Saturday, which is when I would normally have made my videos, and then he's going to come back Monday, and I'm hoping that's it, because it's like the Forth Road Bridge, it seems to be taking forever. Although I guess it is quite a big job, but I'm getting frustrated with it now. And I know it's not his fault, it really isn't his fault. Every tradesman that come here has to work around my husband, and they must hate it, but it seems to have been dragging on for ages. So hopefully it'll be finished Monday. So anyway, so I made some private tuition videos this morning, which was my plan. And like I say, I would have made these on Saturday for you, but I can't, so I'm having to do them now, which is the afternoon, when I'm normally at the table doing big work for Ledger's class. So everything's upside down. I don't like to make videos when my husband's not at work, because with him working like 1 week on and 1 week off, I don't see him for a week, so the week he's off I just like to be around, you know. But I guess it can't be helped at the minute because the decorator. I just have to crack on and not worry about it. It can't be helped, it's nobody's fault. So I'll be making videos, you see, next week when he's off. And I've got to go to my mother's next week as well. And I'm going to London on the 8th of December for a couple of days. I like to go to London just before Christmas. So that's you up to date with the upside down life that I have at the minute. Right, so that's those 2 lines marked. You maybe can't see them, but I can. Ready to put some hand stitch on. So the back of the page is embellished as well. So now with the front of the page, I need to go around 5 by 5 because that'll help me with placement of my pocket. So I need to baste around that. With the prep of this kind of thing, well, the prep for anything, I guess, it takes like time consuming and it's easy to underestimate. You'd think I'd know by now, wouldn't you? You'd think I'd be able to, after all these years, think, right, well, that'll take me X amount of time and that'll take, but it doesn't work like that. Well, not for me anyway. So we'll just go around this 5-inch square, and then I've also got a line drawn on the back of here to add more than the pocket to the front of the page. So the thing is, I'm going to put all the pages together and we finish, I think, in a few weeks. It's like the 23rd. So 1, 2, so I've got 4 buttons. So I'd like another 2. So I'll have 6 pages. And then when I've got all those 6 pages, yeah, hang on. That's my spine, I think. No, it's not. Where's my spine? Oh, my spine's over here. That's right. When I've got all 6 pages, I'll have a think again about how I might put this together, so that those of you who did that last embroidery class aren't just making a book that's similar. I mean, it won't be the same because this one's going to have pockets in it. But I don't want you thinking, oh, come back again to another class, just do exactly what we did before. Oh, see the thread's go up, but it doesn't matter anyway because that's that bit done now. Just need to change my thing, get some more thread. Nearly there, nearly there. Don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep. It's essential. I've also this morning been marking off some more of my pillow front, the radios and the coffee cups to get that cracked on, because I didn't realise how soon we were finishing. And then I think the cloth that we put together, Isabel's already put some in the group, she's making a pillow out of hers. I don't know that I made that with a statement that I would show you what to do with it, so I'm not too worried about not finishing that, but I could talk to you about what I would do with that. Now, you could do what Isabel's done, use it as a pillow front. I'm inclined to want to cut mine up and use it in other stuff. So I'll have to have a little think about that. If I get time, I'll work a bit more on it, but I think it's more important that I finish this book, that I finish the background for the garment piece, and that I finish the pillow. So, right, I'm nearly round here now with my 5-inch square marked out, and then I just need to do that line I've drawn as well for some extra stitching. Okay, wait a minute. So I decided not to make my pockets with silk, my little pockets for the buttons, because of the nature of it fraying, it'd need really well turned over so it didn't like give out fibres and everything and didn't fray itself to death. So I've done it in a cotton, a broderie unglazed cotton, quite a substantial one that I know doesn't fray very much, so it's only required 1 turnover. So have a think about that as well if you're going to do this, about what fabric is best for your pockets in terms of fraying and all the problems that might cause you with turnovers and stuff. Right, so my spine is there, so that's that way up, right, the front. So I've got a line down there, my 5x5 is there. I've done this wrong really, because I wanted that line for the stitching to be at the top. And I've just heard a car and I really hope it's not who I think it is. We'll have to see. My husband's got a friend, I've probably told you this. He's a builder and he comes for a brew at the most awkward times of day. I hope he's not coming. I heard a car door, so I wanted that to be at the top, but never mind. And that's I get confused with all this back and front and switching sides. So that's the right way up and that's at the bottom. I'll just have to live with the fact that it's at the bottom. So I've used this for my pocket. Now I cut this 4x4 and then I mitered the corners and just turned it over once, just 1 turn over there. And I think something that small, I mean, it might be that I'm not that skilled. You might be prolific dressmakers and things. But for me, on something that small, doing 2 turnovers was a step too far. So that's going to work for me. That's the inside of the pocket. So I just need to... So I cut it 4x4, I think. And it doesn't even look square now actually, but now measures. But I don't mind about that. And I don't mind if they're not all the same either. 2.5 by 2.25. So that's how good I am at this kind of stuff. But it doesn't really matter as long as the button fits in it. So I'm going to base this. And I did try the button while it's been pinned like this, but it's difficult to get it a proper idea of that unless this is actually fixed to something. And do you know what I haven't got? I haven't got an embroidery hoop. I'll have to go and get one in a minute. So, and this will be damp stretched as well, not the pocket, but when the pocket's attached to the front and the embroidery is done on the front, that'll be damp stretched too. Now that line actually being in the wrong place might be a good thing, it might work in my favour actually, because I've just had an idea. But I did really want it at the top. So be careful when you're measuring and marking that you know where your front is and upside, like top and bottom, because you're turning it all over, aren't you? You're reversing it. And it might just be me that's a complete brain dead idiot with that kind of thing, but I'm sure it happens to some people some of the time, not just me. I have to believe that, don't I? So I think we've had a lucky escape. If it was him, he'd have been in by now. I can see my gate. I can't see the road, but I can see my gate. Right, so if I just do that, I can take the rest of these pins out, and I'm going to have to go and get a heap. I've got a bit of a frog in my throat. Frog in my throat. So my initial thing was, my pocket was going to go down here, and I was going to have a line of stitching across there. Best laid plans and all that. So now though, I don't want my pocket in the middle. So my pocket can go there, and I can have my line of stitching down here. Alright, so I need to pin that on and then get an embroidery hoop. I'm not going to baste it on, I don't think it's necessary to baste it on as well. So if it looks straight. Oh, actually no, I don't need to do that first. The first thing you have to do is stitch your top edge. Alright, so I'm going to do this in stab stitch. I'm going to attach it in stab stitch in bright colours because my buttons are bright colours. Alright, so what I will do is just do running stitch across the top of that for that hem for the top. If you can imagine, if that was fixed on, you wouldn't be able to hem that top, would you? So hem your top first, okay? I mean, you can do anything you want. You can do bullion knots, you can do French knots, you can do turkey work, you can do any stitch you want across there. But I'm going to try and keep my pockets simple. Probably quite simple with my surface embroidery, but the beauty is going to be in the buttons, so I don't want to detract from that. And I'm not saying that I'm going to work in exactly the colours. So like say, I'm not even saying I can thread a needle. So like, say that one's going in there. I'm not saying I'm going to stick to them colours for the stitch on the page. I think as long as the colours I use are on a button somewhere in the... Oh, thread your needle, woman. A present somewhere, I think that'll be fine, that'll suffice. And it's just going to be a really pretty, happy thing, which is nice as well. So, right, put a knot in this. I'm actually really excited about this. I think it'll be nice. I mean, it'll be pretty basic, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be a masterpiece that'll win any awards, but I'm trying to get my knot underneath. Now, some bits of this can be quite thick, so all I need to do is just tiny running stitches that I know will secure that top fold and make sure that they're straight. A terrible day today, it's filthy, rain. I've got a moat at the front again, I worry about that. It gathers at the bottom of the garden and it doesn't touch the house because there's a big path between that and the house, but I've got visions of it spilling over and ending up against my walls and giving me damp. So I'm going to have to get somebody to look at that. Well, the guy who keeps coming for brews can look at that next time he comes when I don't want him to be here. I'm like, while you're here, because I would hate it to like spill over the garden onto the and build up at the front of the house because it would cause damp, wouldn't it? So I'm obsessed with looking at it and seeing, making sure it's not spilling over. There's a little wall at the end of the garden, you see, and that stops it. So I don't want it coming over there. Right, so just one more. They're very thick, these corners, when you get to where you've mitered. Like I say, it's very, very basic this, but I'm hoping it's going to be effective. Right, so that's that top done. A Henrietta knot. And I'll take this thread down inside this fold. And then I'm going to nick off and get a hoop. Can't believe it. Well, I can actually, it's like, it's to be in it, it's me. Right, so just let me pin this on. I'll do it by eye, and if it looks way out, then I can measure it with my sewing gauge, but I think it's alright. Right, so I've got my 5-inch line there. So that's there. That's right, it's straight, that's right then. So I could probably put another pin in there just to make sure. There. And put one in there. Right, I'll just turn off and get a hoop.